Okay, now today we are going to learn how to create a folder, and then we also create a file. Of course, I know you are aware of that, but for those who are seeing this for the first time, I just want them to know the procedure and the whole process. So that means we shall start off with creating a folder. So you right click. When you have your mouse, you right click. When you right click, you'll have this simple dialog box on your screen, and then when you scroll down to new, make sure you look for folder. Okay, so you left click, then we have our folder, but by default we have the name new folder. Okay, so we need to rename this folder. So I'll right click, and then I go to rename. When you click rename, let's say we shall give it what? Let me call it SB. Okay, but of course you'll have to give it your names. So mine, I'll say SB, name of my folder. Then for the registration number, first of all, most of the times our registration numbers have that slash. Okay, that slash. Now this slash won't work here when you're trying to create your file. When I click the slash on my mouse, okay, you'll see it will bring this simple message here: a file name cannot contain any of the following characters: the slash, the semicolon, the star, question mark, and then also the less than, greater than sign. Okay, now that means we are going to use a dash to help us fix their what, to represent the slash for our registration numbers. So I'll say 16. Let's assume that's our registration number. Then I'll say this minus u. Okay, so I've just come up with a random registration number. Then I say stroke ps. Of course, you'll press enter when you're done with creating your image. Sorry, your folder, renaming the folder. So you have to open this folder. So I'll double click on it. You can see before when I double click, it's saying empty folder on the screen. So when I open my folder, right now they are saying this folder is what? Empty. So we need to create a file. So I'll right click, then I'll go to new, then you look for, remember we are going to interact with the Excel worksheet, so you have to look for Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel, of course you'll have to click that. And then before we open this document, let's get to the question and see what they actually want us to do, because sometimes in the question they will tell us to rename the file. Okay, they will tell us to rename the file. Now sometimes in the question they may tell us to rename the file, let's say mark sheet. Okay, right now for this video we are going to go through how we can rank. We are going to talk about ranking of marks. Of course, that's when we are going to use the if statement, but now let's rename this file. So I'll click on this file. You left click once, then you right click, then you scroll down, go to rename. Let's call it mark sheet. Press enter. So we have managed to rename our Excel file. So I'll open the file. Now of course we have managed to open it. Right now this is what we call a spreadsheet. This is what we call a spreadsheet. Then of course this is a cell. A single box is a cell. Then this is a row. Okay, this is a row, and then this is a column. So let's refer back to the question. Now look at our question here. They're telling us required. What is required? Create a worksheet and name it students marks. Okay, that means we are going to go back and rename our file. We have to rename it student what? Student is marks. Okay, so let's go back and rename it that, because it's the first question. So I'll go back. Let me first try to close this file. Now first we had renamed it mark sheet. Okay, so let's go back. I'll close this file. Then we are here. I'll rename, and after us to rename it, student is Max. I think it's mark sheet. Let's see what student's mark sheet. I'll press enter. Let's head back to the question. Yes, student's Max, not mark sheet. Student is Max. So I'll try to rename that. Then I'll open back our file. Here we are. So we are done with answering the first question. Then assign, type the details in Excel worksheet and rotate the column titles to angle clockwise. Now we are going to first type this, but for me, of course, since I'm having a soft copy with me, I'm going to just copy and paste. For you, you'll have to do the typing. So I'm going to just get this because of time. I'll copy that, then I'll paste it here within my spreadsheet. Okay, I have everything with me now. So let me try to change this very fast. First leave it like this, no borders. Okay, now they're telling us to look at the question. They're telling us type the details we are done and rotate the column titles to angle counterclockwise. The column titles are these ones here: name, test number, out of 20, out of 30, final test, exam, 100. So I'll click here on this cell. You left click, then you drag towards the right side. After doing that, we have to look for it. Yeah, here it is. You go to the home tab, then you go to the alignment section, then you look for this part that is called orientation. Rotate your text diagonally or vertically. Okay, now like click the drop down arrow that allows us to rotate all the column titles to angle counterclockwise. Okay, angle counterclockwise. So we have very many options here, but in the question they have been very specific. That means we need to concentrate with what they have asked for. If they had asked for angle clockwise, that means we would have clicked this one. If they had asked for vertical text, we would have clicked this one. Then the same goes to rotate text up, rotate text down, then format cell alignment. So they didn't ask for these, they only asked for angle counterclockwise. So I've said you go to the alignment section and then you look for it here. So you click that, and then here we are. Okay, I think I'll try to. This is not nice, but this is what they actually wanted. This is what they wanted. So this is what they wanted, but it doesn't look that nice. So what I'm going to do very fast, I think I'm going to remember I copied and pasted, so I think it's having some bit of, it's not looking that nice. So I'm going to first delete this row. Let me delete that. So I'm going to insert in a new one. So I'll say name, then we head back. Shall say test. This is it? Yeah, 1 out of 20. Then we have test, 2 out of 30, I think. Then we have final. We have final test mark. Final test mark. Then I think, let's see. Then we have the exam that is out of 100. The final test mark, what figure does it have? Nothing. So that means, let's go back to our row. We click this part. We click this cell that has name. You drag up to exam out of 100. Then we go back and select angle counterclockwise. Okay, nice. This looks beautiful compared to what we had pasted. Okay, now know, when I use the, let me try to do this, and then I think this is fine, most likely. All right, so we are done with that one. Then they're saying each test must be computed out of 15, so that the final test mark is out of 30. So the final test mark is out of 30. They're saying each test should be computed out of 15. Final test mark, which is this row, and final exam must be completed out of 70, so that the final mark is out of 100. Okay, now what they are trying to say, we have two types of tests. We have test 1, we have test 2. Now they want us to make sure that test 1, they've said each test should be computed out of 15. That means we are going to compute test 1 out of 15, and then we are going to compute test 2 out of 15, and then we shall have the final test mark, which is this one. It will be out of 30 when we have completely combined these two columns together. Then that's what they're trying to tell us. Then they're saying, and the final exam must be completed out of 70, so that the final mark is out of 100. Now that means we shall create another column in our Excel sheet, whereby after getting the details of the final test mark, which is out of 30, okay, take note of this. Then they're saying the final exam should be completed out of 70. So the final exam shall come here. Remember, this is out of 100. Create another column, okay, which will be having out of 70. That means you shall have to convert these marks out of 70. Okay, when you convert them out of 70, so that the final mark is out of 100. Okay, so we already have the final mark with us. It is already here. Okay, so now that's what they are trying to tell us. Now they are saying insert a column name test 1 out of 15 between test 1 and 2, and compute the students marks for test 1 out of 15. So that means we shall go back to our table, and then so they have told us we insert a column here between test 1 and test 2. Now to insert a new column, you have to click this part. Okay, of course there's a quicker way, but I'll show it to you after this part. So I'll right click, and then I'll click insert. When I click insert, okay, hope you have seen that. Let me press Ctrl Z to just make a repetition. You right click, then you click insert. Okay, then we shall have a brand new column. If you can't do that, then there is a shortcut. You can highlight everything, then you come with your arrow pointer, and then you drag one step, and of course it will drag everything to this side. Okay, so the choice is yours. So we have a new column. It's going to be the test will be test 1 out of 15. Okay, now we are going to compute between test 1 and 2. Yes, so what is the formula? We shall say equals. For all computations in Excel, we start with the equal sign. Then we shall say, now if you go back to the question, they are telling us insert. Okay, now we are going to compute this test 1 alone. We are going to convert it out of 15. So I'll say I'll get these marks 15 stroke 20. Okay, remember column 1 or test 1, it was out of 20. So we shall say these marks, okay, stroke 20 times, okay, the multiplication symbol, we won't use the X, we shall use this asterisk. Okay, asterisk, it's called asterisk, but you can call it a star. So we shall say times what? 15. Okay, you press enter, and of course we have 11.25. That means if you compute this out of 15, it is going to be 11.25. so you have two options. You can either drag this such that it inserts the formula throughout to avoid repetition of the formula. Okay, it will insert in everything automatically, or you can come with your arrow pointer, and then you see this black dot that is here. Go with your arrow pointer. When it changes shape, double click on it, then it will help you automatically generate your results. Now let's get to the next question. They're telling us insert a column name test 2 out of 15 between 2 and the final test mark, and compute the student's marks of test 2 out of 15. The same scenario. That means we are going to put a new column. They've said let's put it between test 2 and the final test mark. Now you have again two options. Remember I told you can either do this, you highlight everything and then you push it to this side, or you can just simply click in this column, then you right click, then you click insert. I think this is the best way. It's much more faster. So I'll call this test 2 out of 15. Okay, I think this is the best option. Yeah. So now we shall say equals. Of course you shall have to click in this cell that has test 2. We are converting it out of 15. You click that, then you say stroke, and then you say stroke 30, then times what? Times 15, because they are telling us we convert the test 2 results out of 15. So I'll say times 15. Of course you'll press enter, then you need to drag down the formula. So remember I told you that you can come with your arrow point as you can see on the screen, and then I hope you are seeing everything clearly. Let me try to zoom this a bit. Yeah, I think this is better. Then I want to double click. You come with your arrow pointer, then you double click. Of course it will put all the formula, so all the figures automatically. Okay, so you double click on this dot, or you can drag. Okay, you may come with your arrow pointer, click here, then you drag down, then to insert in the figures. So we are done with that. We get to the next question. They are saying compute the final test mark. Now we need to get the final test mark. That is going to be out of 30. Remember they have told us take note of this. It is out of 30, despite them not indicating it in this question here. They have already indicated it somewhere else within the question. So final test mark is out of 30. That means we are going to come here. Of course we shall start off with the equal sign, and then we look for those columns that we have just recently created. For test 1 that is out of 15, then for test 2 that is also out of 15. So you'll click this cell that has the results that are of test 1 out of 15. Then we shall say, of course before doing that, we are going to add, and if we are to add in Excel we need to use the sum. Okay, now I'll simply start off with the equal sign, then I'll say sum. Okay, then you double click on it. You shall have a bracket being generated here for us. If you can't double click, I know some people have trouble with the mouse, so you press shift and then you look for that opening bracket which is next to number 9 on your keyboard. You press shift and number 9, it will bring that opening bracket. Then you click this cell that has just 1 out of 15, and of course you put the comma, fix the comma, then you come and click in this cell as well. that has test 2 out of 15. Remember that I've told us in this column we expect it to be out of 30. So we are adding both tests. Okay, 15 plus 15, that's 30. So you close the brackets, then you press enter. Okay, so you come and click this click in this dot, and then we shall have our formula inserted. So we have the results now, which are out of 30. That means we can proceed. Then they're telling us complete each student's exam out of 70. That means we need to create a new column that is out of 70. Remember, we have a column that has the final exam out of 100. That means we are going to create next to it a new column that is having the final results that are out of 70. So we shall say exam stroke 70. Okay, now let's get back to the question. Student is exam. So of course we shall say equals, then we click the one that has 56. We go to the column that has the final exam out of 100. Then we shall say stroke, of course, stroke 100. Of course, then we say times what? Times 70. Then you press enter. Okay, that means out of 70, the final marks will be what? It will be 39.2. Then you click this drop down, you click this dot, you double click on it. Okay, and then it will automatically generate for us the figures. Or remember, I told you once again, you can click in this dot and then you drag down the formula. So when you're done with that, let's go back to our question. Then they're saying compute each student's final mark. Okay, compute each student's final mark. Now what do they mean by this? The student's final mark, we are going to get those the marks of we are going to compute the marks of 70 plus 30. I repeat, we are going to compute the results that we have of this plus this, the final test mark. Remember, the final test mark was out of 30. Now in the question here, they're telling us compute each student's final mark. Okay, that means we are going to add again, but so we shall say students, in fact let's say just okay, let's say students final mark, students final mark. Okay, now that means we are going to say equals, then we say sum. So we are going to say this, of course, then we shall say comma, then we look for those that are out of 30. Okay, of course, shall close the brackets, we press enter. Hope you are following. Okay, these were out of 30, these were out of 70. Now they want us to compute the student's final mark, so you have to get these that are out of 70 plus those that are out of 30. Then we compute the results, you drag, and then we shall have those marks. So we are done with computing the final marks of the students. Then they're telling us count the number of students in the class using the count formula. Count the number of students in the class using the count formula. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to look at how we are counting the count formula. We need to know how the count formula is and how it works. So these are the names that we are seeing here. These are the names we are seeing here. So we shall type our count formula. Shall say count if, okay, you open brackets, you say count formula. Okay, count is equal to, shall say equals count if then you open brackets. Now after opening brackets, we are going to click on this cell, click on that cell, go downwards, drag it downwards up to that point, then you put there a comma, then a star, put their quotations, star, then put other quotations there. Then of course we need to close the brackets, press enter. When you press enter, you can see we have 7. We have 7. Okay, we have 7. That means we have 7 people. Okay, we have 7 students. You could say like students, and you can see up here we have our formula. Okay, yeah, so that's how they calculate count if. You get back to the question. Then we have compute highest and lowest. Compute highest and lowest. So let me try to go here. Okay, highest and lowest, final mark. Okay, based on what we have seen with the question, highest and lowest. So we shall type here highest, and then after typing highest, let's say also lowest. We say lowest as well. Then we click in this cell equals max to represent highest. Then you go up, click in this cell, in this column, drag downwards, then close the brackets. You need to close the brackets. Okay, maybe there's something I didn't do here. Let me try to rectify it. I'm seeing there is a mark that is missing. Try to drag this and we see. Okay, it's not working. Let me try to drag up to the bottom. We get the yes, it has worked. So we go back and we drag again, click in this cell, then let's say we are going to say again max. Okay, equals max, open brackets, then click in this cell, drag downwards, close brackets, press enter. Okay, you can see it is 84. Okay, point. You can see that we have, this is the highest mark, so we have to find the minimum. Equals mean, shall say equals mean, then open brackets, click here, drag downwards, then close brackets, press enter. Then we have this as the lowest mark. We have this as the lowest mark. Okay, so we head back to the question. We need to also get the if statement, the if statement as well. So long as you are seeing the question there, we need to look at the if statement. So now you can see that we are going to create another column. Now for this column, we are going to call it grade. Since we are going to grade students' marks, of course we are going to use the nested if statement. We have types of if statement. We have nested if, simple if statement, but we are going to use the nested if. So we shall say equals if, open brackets. So we have we click in this cell, then we say we shall say greater than what, 80, comma, check and you see that will be 5.0. Okay, so we place another comma, we say if, open brackets, click in this cell, then we say greater than what, yes, greater than 75, comma 4.5. okay, then we check again and we see if, open brackets, click in this cell, greater than what? Okay, 70, comma, that will be 4.0. Yes, if brackets, click in this cell, greater than or equal to 65. So we shall say 65, so, comma, what do we have as the rating? Grading, it will be 3.5. Then we say equals, then once again if. Now this is what we call a nested if. Okay, a nested if, whereby we have an if statement within another if statement. We have the simple if statement, and of course we also have the nested if statement. That means the one that we are trying to use when we are grading, okay, the students' marks, we are using the nested if statement, whereby we shall have an if statement within another if statement. So we continue and proceed. So we shall say, you click in this cell, greater than or equal to, what are the marks? Shall say 60, then comma, then 3.0, comma, then again we say if, open brackets, click in this cell, then we shall say greater than or equal to 55, comma, then we have 2.5, comma, if, open brackets, then click in this cell, greater than or equal to 50, comma, 2.0. Now we need to close the brackets. Remember, we have opening brackets, so we need to close these brackets. We have how many opening brackets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means we are going to have 7 closing brackets. So when we start closing, you realize there's even each bracket will have its own specific what color. Okay, so when I start closing 7 brackets, so I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, then you press enter. So you can see it's working well. Let me try to drag and see that it's working. When I scroll down, yes, okay. Now we have a problem with this one, 47. Did I proceed? I didn't proceed with it, so we need to rectify that. Oh, sorry, I didn't finish up with the if statement. I've said else 1.5, so we need to finish up with it. It's not complete, so we shall say now what we are going to do, we shall say else 1.5, so that means comma 1.5. Then of course we need to close the brackets. How many brackets? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are they? Yeah, it has worked. So we go down, you drag that, so it will be 1.5. Yeah, so we are done with grading that, as you can see down. Remember, we had an error at the beginning, but now fine. So we are done with that one. So we are looking at the next question, as you can see on the screen. You can see so now this is our formula. You can pause the video and see how it works. So we get the next question. Okay, we get to the next question. So right now, as you look at this question, you can pause the video and see how it is, because I want to proceed in what it says. Now let me try to scroll here. We are going to create a chart, a column chart. So highlight this, press Ctrl, click that, leave your fingertip on Ctrl, and then drag on your right side. So we are going to create a graph. Then final mark, we get final mark, highlight this column that has student final mark, and then when you are done that, let go of the control button. Let me try to zoom out. You can see I've zoomed out, so you can see they are all highlighted at the same time. You have to press Ctrl and then you do that. It is possible. Click Ctrl, leave your fingertip there, then it will help you highlight. Click Insert tab. Look for where we have the chart section. This is the home tab, this is the insert tab. So look for where you see the chart section. Click this, click here. Let's click and we see what it will bring for us. Click that, and then here we are. Alright, so now when you're done with that, I hope that is clear. Right now, for those who are having Windows 10, okay, we shall proceed with what they are asking. So you can see this is my chart. Hope you have been able to create your charts. So I'm going to just carry on with what I have, such that may proceed. Okay. Rename them. Now those of you who are using Windows 8, you'll have to simply go to, when you open your chart like this, you go to your ribbon. This is what we call a ribbon. Okay, it will bring something like layout somewhere here. Okay, not page layout, but it has to bring something like layout around here. Click on that layout. When you click on that layout, look for the chart, you look for the section that has axis title. Okay, you click axis title. Before you click axis title, there is also the chart title. Click on that and then select above chart. Okay, above chart. When you select above chart, it will help you to select the title and to present itself within the graph. Then for the axis, you'll have to go to the axis title and then look for, select horizontal axis title. You click on that, and then when you're done with that, go to axis title again and then select vertical title. Now the choice is yours. You'll have to make a lot of selections here. For me now, I may choose the one that is straight. Okay, you select this one. For those of you who are using Windows 10 or you have a different type of Microsoft, for it it's like this, something simple. We shall have the plus sign with us here. So you select this, click that, then you select axis titles. Of course they will generate themselves automatically here. Now they want us to rename the title. Let's call it students results. So we shall say student is results. Then we are done with that. Then this one, these are students' names, names of students. So I will simply say student is names. Then we shall have the final mark. The final mark of the students. Final mark. So I'll say final mark. Okay. So here we are. We have our graph with us. It's already labeled. Then finally they're saying cut and paste the chart between sheet 1 and sheet 2 and rename the sheet students performance. Now we are going to graph. They're saying between sheet 1 and sheet 2. We have right now sheet 1. Some of you already have sheet 2 with you when you are using a different type of Microsoft. So me, I'll click sheet this. Of course, shall have sheet 2. They want us to place it in between sheet 1 and sheet 2. So I'll go ahead and create sheet 3. Then I'll drag this shift 3 to replace sheet 2. Okay, I hope you have noticed that. Look at the bottom of my screen. I'll press Ctrl Z and then okay, Ctrl Z has taken everything back behind. Final marks. You can play around with these sheets. You can even place sheet 1 in sheet 3 and then it changes. Okay, now for me, I've managed to switch this. Okay, you can see they want us to place the sheet between sheet 1 and sheet 2. So I'll get this, click on sheet 3, click left click, okay, then you drag it to where you see sheet 2, then rename that sheet. Let's rename it students performance. So I'll say students performance. And done with that, we shall go ahead and cut. That was to cut this. Cut. We still have our graph. Now, when you are done with cutting, you can right click on your mouse pointer. Right click, then you click paste. Okay, you click paste. If not, you can do it like this. Let me try to remove that. Or you can press Ctrl V on your keyboard. Ctrl V, it will also present the chart. So remember, once again, you also need to save. As you are working, you need to save. You need to take note of that, because sometimes there could be a power blackout and then you may end up losing all your work and you start afresh. Therefore, looks like we are done with this question. We are done with this question, and that is how we can compute the student marks. Okay, that is how it's done. Maybe I need to highlight this and then we put the borders. For the borders, you'll have to go to the font section and then you click this drop down arrow. Of course, you have to select all borders. When you select that, here you are, you have the borders. If you want to bold these borders, the names, you may highlight this, then you select bold. Okay, yeah, here we are. So now we are done with this number.